You can hear it.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top. Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to our next edition of Coffee with Kennected. Today, we have Stephanie Fordham of Kennected, who is the Chief Director of People Operations. I was going to say Chief People Officer.
I like you put me on Chief there. That was fun.
Chief People Officer for the Kennected organization. And today, we're going to talk a little bit about how do we hold a space for people in our organizations so that they can be the best version of themselves and succeed into the places that they want to go and grow into in their career. So I'm excited to talk to you, Stephanie, today. And we're going to just dig deeper into this kind of conversation. But before we get started, Stephanie, tell us a little bit about you and your journey to have this new role with Kennected.
Yeah, absolutely. I have 4 kids. They're all grown. I was a stay-at-home mom for years, actually, and drove a school bus while they were in elementary school. And well, when my youngest started first grade, I started driving a school bus, drove a school bus for 10 years. When he graduated, I knew I needed to do something a little more. That was not going to fill my time. So I started a career. I went to work as an executive assistant with another company and worked adjacent, is what I would say at first, with HR. I'm not a good person who's bored. So I needed more to do. They were busy, so I started doing work for them. And that just pushed me right. And then found out about Kennected and interviewed here and came in here and have been able to do some fun work here. So
Great. And I'm sure that it has been an interesting journey supporting the organization. How many people are you supporting as far as for HR?
Yeah, absolutely. We have about 60 W-2 employees and then a few other contractors and so forth.
Okay, cool. Wow. So that's a lot of people. And what is it that you love about your job?
Oh my gosh, probably too many things to say. It's easier to tell you what I don't like, which is like taxes. But who does, I suppose. But I just really love the ability to get in and do my job and to have ideas and be listened to. I think that's one thing that's great about Kennected and Devin and the executive team in particular. They just are willing. They have such an open mind and they're excited about everything, about anything that's a good idea. And you can bring it to them and they're like, let's do it, or go run with it and let's see if it works. And I love that. I think that's a really neat culture that we have here.
That's amazing. And so we were talking a little bit before we jumped on about holding a space for growth and allowing people to really tap into their strengths. Tell us a little bit about your perspective on how you facilitate that within your organization.
Yeah, that's fair. I honestly think, and I know we didn't talk about this before, but I think it starts with an interview. From the very first touch point at Kennected, I've been here about a year and a half, a little over a year and a half, and I've had the opportunity to interview quite a few people of the 60 that are here in that year and a half. And I think it really starts with that, where you begin to listen to them and their strengths and see where they fit in your organization and if they fit. Now, of course, you have job descriptions, and that's something you have to think about if they fit into the job description. But more importantly, do they fit in the culture? Can they do the job? And will they have that excitement and drive to succeed? And that will look different in everyone. And I think that's what's most important, is looking for those strengths and the strengths that they have and where that is going to be.
Yeah. And how do you get curious about that part? Like, how do you know if someone is going to have the drive or the passion or the purpose? I'm just curious, like, how do you figure that out? What do you ask?
Yeah, that's fair. Usually I will start talking about what interests them in the job, but one of my first questions is, what are you passionate about? And I like to hear that. And I've honestly had some applicants. I had one that it almost hurt my heart. They didn't know. They said, I don't know. And but the people I really love are those that give me this long list, of things that they're passionate about. My second question is, what activities do you enjoy outside of work? And both of those can be pretty telling about what people, you can see them light up as they're talking about anything from reading to sports to video games to outdoor activities. It just is fun to see that passion in them.
Yeah, and that passion is not something you can teach. You can't teach that part, right?
That's fair.
You can teach them the skills. You can give them books and techniques and tools, but the passion part kind of comes with the package and the attitude, right? The passion and attitude is something that they need to have inherently, and then the other stuff you can teach them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what about the strengths? Let's talk about the strengths of the people that are coming to you. How do you nurture those strengths within your organization through the culture and different activities that you bring to the group?
Right. Absolutely. And some of it I'm going to not take credit for, because I don't think it's me that has done some of these things, but because it takes a minute sometimes, right? People need to be comfortable. They need to come in and feel secure and not needing to be like everyone else, if that makes sense. One thing that they've done in their morning meetings that I think is excellent is they open it to any questions. We just actually started probably about a month ago, a morning company-wide meeting on Mondays. It's just our kickoff meeting on Monday morning. Devin is there. I give some announcements, but questions can be asked about anything. And so at first, the first meeting, it was a little crickets. It was. And then the second meeting, David, as our COO, he said, look, we're going to sit here till someone has a comment or question. And there's one brave soul that breaks the ice. And then you get comments and questions. I think that's really important. People need to be able to say what they're thinking, ask questions, and then they begin to have ideas and feel invested and want to invest their strengths and time into what their job is.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And then you become facilitators of the organization. You become space holders. We talked about holding a space for people to grow and develop. And how do you work with the different leaders of the departments to help them also grow their people that they're leading?
That's a good question. We're still working on that and growing that. I do work with each one individually, as well as we do have some manager training. I think part of that is getting to know each other as well, which we've been working on and doing. And that has helped a ton to, again, have that comfort to be vulnerable and asking questions you don't know. We have a lot of very new managers. So learning that skill of management, of leading people is very important and also new, right? It's not something that comes naturally to everyone, or honestly, I don't know that it comes naturally to anyone, because one of our managers, for instance, after he became a manager, he said, wow, after a few months, he said, wow, I thought everyone would be like me, and some people need more than I need. And that was eye-opening to him. And I remember the first time I realized people were different, right, than I am. And so learning that and learning how to deal with different personality types and different people with different strengths, and then help pull that out and help them develop those strengths is something we're all working on. Yeah.
And I think it's a consistent reawareness of yourself and others, because as we bring people onto the team dynamic changes. So every time you have a new person, you need to figure out what that next person needs, how they operate, and how to onboard them so that they can be the best version of themselves they can be. But we have a question here from Jack Hibbler. Jack's always on here asking questions. And they want to know, Jack wants to know, what is the most powerful thing you do as director of people operations?
Oh, that is a great question. And wow, one I'd really have to think about a little bit. I would say the thing I most enjoy is helping people feel a part and valued. Feeling like they're connected. We call it a team. Our values are own it, the T and own it. It's an acronym, and the T is together. We're a team, and helping them feel a valued member of that team, right? They're playing on the field. And, like any team, when you start on a team, you have to learn how the team plays and where you fit and what position you play best. And I think that's probably the most powerful thing, or the thing I've enjoyed the most, is just chatting with others and helping them realize their value and their impact that they can have.
Yeah. Wow. And how does the culture that you have within the organization, like you said the acronym that you use, how do you play that through or weave the culture through what you do at work?
Yeah, absolutely. Own it, like I said, is an acronym. I have always own it is something I used even with my children. Like I taught them, it's okay if you make a mistake. It's okay if you do something great. Own it across the board. Like own your mistakes. Let's move on. Own what you do great and learn from it and help others with it. But own it is an acronym that we use often. Opportunity, world class, no BS. No BS alludes to transparency, or back to that questioning or having any ideas. And then impact. We hope that every employee here has impact. And then the together that I referenced before. So we do talk about that a lot. We talk about it every Thursday. I just started a POPS Minute. We call it People Operations Minute in our morning meetings, and just talk about one of those values, or how we can have impact, or how we can give good feedback and what that looks like. Feedback isn't just complaining, for instance. Feedback is having a solution to a problem and coming in or talking about a problem with a solution as well, and how we do that effectively. And so those things are what we work on all the time. We talk about it all the time.
Nice. I think that leaning into that culture, that theming of the culture and reiterating it really helps weave it through the organization. So we have another question here from somebody. I don't know who exactly is asking this question, but how do you keep your people inspired to be the best?
Yeah, this is challenging. And to be completely transparent, we're coming off of a difficult winter with some difficult business decisions. The weather's been gray. We're in Indianapolis, and when the weather is gray, I think everyone suffers a little bit with that gray weather. And so it's a challenge to inspire. But I'll tell you something silly. We tend to do some silly things here and there. If you follow us on social media, you've seen it. But yesterday was Pi Day, 3/14. Most people probably don't celebrate Pi Day except if they're in the elementary school. We had a pie contest. I thought for sure that we would have maybe 4 pies, and we had 9 pies. There was trash talk on Slack the night before as people were making their pies. It was fantastic. And we had voting, and someone won the best pie. Also, there was a sales contest on Monday, and then 2 managers were pied in the face yesterday as well. So we had some really fun things with Pi Day. Those kinds of things I think inspire and keep you excited. Even when things are rough a little bit. I'm a firm believer in acknowledging the difficult, and so when things are difficult, I think it's okay to say, you know what, this is difficult, but we can get through difficult, and we will, and we'll get through it and we'll be fine. And so I think those things are very important.
Yeah, I love that you're doing fun things within the organization. It keeps everybody engaged because, work should be fun.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. On Employee Appreciation Day, we did connected superlatives, we called it, like senior superlatives. It was a blast. It was so much fun. And we there's an activities committee that wrote them and put them out, and there were things like best shoes, and it's to a guy who wears Crocs all the time, and just some fun things. Most likely to be a hero or a supervillain went to somebody. It was just some really fun things. We had a lot of fun with it.
That's really fun. Yeah, I miss that. I think a lot of us have been segregated in our homes, like, not engaging in some of these activities. So knowing that you guys are like in the office having fun is really like, I'm glad that you're doing that. You know what I'm looking at? I'm looking at the things behind you. There's these, why are you worried? Be a Yeti and you got this. What does all that mean?
Where's my you got this is my to-do list. Somebody actually gave that to me.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I love it. I am a huge, in fact, I have a whiteboard that if you get off the elevators, I change every day with quotes of inspiration. I usually try and move them around the own it themes as far as opportunity, the themes that we have for our values. But I am a big believer in quotes. Our quote today, in fact, I have it written over here because I liked it so well. I wrote it on a sticky note where I could see it. It says, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. And it's by Shirley Chisholm. And I want to attribute it to the right person. But I love that. I love quotes that get you excited. The Be a Yeti is one I heard in a talk. And so I wrote it where I could see it. And it says, because I can tend to sometimes be the person who's, I don't really know that. And I feel intimidated. But Be a Yeti is, I don't know that yet. And it's
I don't know that yet.
I don't know. It's a whole different perspective, right? It's
right.
Instead of feeling intimidated because I don't know that, it's I don't know that yet, but I'm going to find out.
Okay. I love that. Okay.
And I love that. And the why are you worried is a little bit of an old thing, the older we get, the more you realize things work out, even when they're terrible. And the moment they work out. And that's a reminder to me, why are you worried? It always works out. So in the moment of uncertainty and stress, why are you worried? It's okay. It'll work out. Just breathe and go through and you'll be fine.
I really love that too. I mean, Stephanie, you are an inspiration, and I can see that you're an inspiration to the Kennected organization. What do you want to leave our audience with today as we close out this live stream?
Oh, that's a hard one. You know what I think I'm going to go with is today's quote, bring a folding chair. If you feel like you don't have a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. Remember, you don't know yet. Be that Yeti. I'm stealing two different ideas of two different people, but they're both very inspirational. And I think it's important to note that you can be and do whatever you want. Just put that mindset and go through. You got it.
Well, Stephanie, this has been wonderful. I love those quotes and sayings, and I'm just excited that you are supporting the Kennected organization and all of the people that are in it. So congratulations on the great work that you're doing. And until next week, everyone, we will see you on Coffee with Kennected. Bye, everyone.